Hello guys, this is a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to design a whole playable Milliastra Wonderland stage. So for this stage I decided on making a time trial based puzzle, like this time trial right here in Genshin Impact's map in Fontaine. Once you interact with the challenge and start it, it's gonna give you a timer at the top of the screen, and the goal here is to gather all the collectibles and make it to the chest before the timer runs out. Once you finish the quest in time, you get a chest and interact with it, and this is how I'm gonna end my stage. So to begin the stage, I am gonna click on the menu or the top left of the screen to open up the menu, scroll down. You're gonna see the section where Milliastra Wonderland is, and there is My Milliastra Wonderland. This is where you create the stages. I'm gonna click on it, and it's gonna open up this page. Here we can create a new save on the bottom right. Here it says Beyond mode or a classic mode. So basically here it says TAVAT characters can play and supports up to 4 players like in Genshin Impact. But for Beyond mode only mannequins can play, and it supports up to 8 players. For this stage I would rather you guys get to use the mannequins, so I'm gonna click on this and click on confirm. Of course, they both have different perks. You can do like things here in Classic are limited, while in Beyond there are also limitations. For a beginner-friendly stage, we're gonna stick to the Beyond mode to use the mannequins, also to experience the game with your original character and your favorite design. So here you're gonna find those 2 things. The arrow is called the preset point. This is where basically your character spawns, and this blue thing is the stage entity. I would rather we keep it in the middle of the stage and not really put it anywhere else. As for navigation, right here I'm holding the right mouse button and just dragging it around, and this is how I rotate the viewport. As for here, going back and left and right, this is the camera. Basically this is the navigation camera, and I use the WASD buttons for it. If you feel like the camera speed is too slow, you can go to the top right over here for the settings of the file and increase this if you would like. I also sometimes like to keep them a little lower. Here it's a little faster than before. Now to explain what we need to do in this editor, I want to explain on the top left right here, the menu. You can get to edit the stage settings and test play the stage and manage the camera, add lights, do a lot of things. And for a start, I would like to mess a little bit with the stage settings. Here, I would like the stage to be a little wider and not be bound by just too little space. So 100 might not be enough for me. I'm gonna keep it on 500 just in case. And right here, this is called the terrain. If you click on here in the menu, you're gonna find the terrain editing. This is the terrain editor, and if you click on this is like a whole ground. It's called the terrain, and it doesn't exactly have to be the game ground that you could use, but if you would like to edit it, it's very flexible. You can click on this brush, for example, see what other options you have. Like for example, we have this mud brush. We can click once anywhere on these blocks. There's this brush, and you can also click on the delete button to remove a block you didn't want to add. So when you click on create, you add a block, and when you click on delete, you remove the block. And as for leveling out, you can like add, let's say I want to add 5 of these. I'm not just gonna create them manually. I'm just gonna click on level out and increase this to, let's say, 5 blocks. And when you do that, let's see, from here it's gonna add 5, so you don't have to do it like manually. So this is how you edit a terrain. There's also a water brush. If you see over here, you're gonna see like an aquatic block. You click on it and you click create. It's gonna empty this part of the blocks and add water inside. If you do this as well over here, as you can see, while these buttons over here, if you click on this is like elevating a platform using stairs. Of course, we have in the entity placement library right here, you do have dynamic units and static units that you could use to decorate with, like the trees, for example. Just dragging it down to the map and maybe like using these navigation arrows. When you click on space, you can either like just use the movement navigation arrows, or you can click another, just rotation, and another, only scaling, like this, or another space. You get all 3 of them at once, so you can freely just edit whatever you'd like. The boxes are for scaling, the arrows are for moving, and those circular lines are for angling. If you're too lazy to design something using the assets, you can definitely use the terrain editor, but for vegetation and stuff, you might want to use the static units right here. They have a lot of options that you could use, and for my stage, I'm gonna be using mostly the assets actually, these units, and not the terrain editor, because I don't like the stage to have many blocks, or because I don't want my stage to have like many blocks. I like my stage to have more motion to it, so I'm gonna add like a lot of different assets. But feel free to experiment with all of these brushes, they're very fun. If you want something just ready-made, you don't have to keep thinking about where to put things, you can just experiment with those. Add a bit of stairs, like this. Let's see. Oh yeah, if I hover over the arrows, it shows you the direction of where the stair is gonna be. Like here, I clicked on this, it goes this way. If I click on this arrow, it goes this way. So here I want it like this, for example. I'm gonna click on this arrow, so it goes upwards, like this. So this is a very beginner-friendly terrain editor. If in case you don't want to mess with the other options, you can definitely use the terrain editor. So this button is for adding the blocks, like this, with the brush, or delete them. And this one is for the stairs, and this one is for the water. And this is for pathways. Like, let's say I don't want everything, to be too green or such. I'm gonna paint the path where I want, for example, the set to be. It could be such a really useful way to start a stage, actually. If you don't know exactly where to put things, but you want something to be more fun, just draw a path, and we're gonna design the stage based on the path. Okay, so I want to start drawing the path, but I made all of these blocks. I want to kind of remove them, and I'm not going to do it like manually every single time. I can just click Ctrl+Z to undo everything I have done, and it will undo, but be careful because you can only undo about 50 times. So if you forget something long forgotten, you can only go back 50 steps. And if you would like to know more shortcuts, on the top left of the menu right here, you're going to find the hotkeys option down here below. Fourth option, hotkey overview from the bottom. Click on it. It's gonna show you all of the keybinds you need for the terrains right here, how to switch between drawing the terrain or the slope or the water. You can just click 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And the general shows you the rotation, the pan. This is how you navigate. Also, yeah, the holding the mouse wheel button and dragging it around like this shows you can also navigate like you're looking from anywhere you want. You can also zoom in. Okay, so now I want to begin designing the path of the stage, how far I want to go and such. I want to start planning. Let's say I'm gonna stand up here to see how it looks from above. I'm gonna grab any brush, and I'm gonna choose the path option and keep it on create. And let's say, for example, if I'm gonna start here from here, like the player is gonna spawn right here, I'm gonna make them go forward first, and then go a little bit to the left, walk a little bit, and then move to the right, drag, get inside a little bit, like this, and they're gonna end the stage right here. Let's see, the distance is not too far. We can always just make it a little more spacious. Okay, and then just click on escape button. It's gonna save the changes. Now to begin using the editor to put my assets and actually design the stage I want to walk through. Let's see here in the entity placement, I'm gonna start. Let's see, I want to add a lot of vegetation, and I want to make like a nice path for the entry of the stage. Let's see, the preset point is right here. I'm gonna grab it. This is where the character spawns. Space to give me rotation. Also, if the rotation is not like snapped and it's so flexible and I want it to be snapped so I don't have to struggle, I can click on this angle here and rotate at fixed angle. Keep that like 15. That way it rotates at 15 degrees every single time. Now keep it at 180. There we go. This is where my character spawns. If I feel like the stage is too small, I can just go to the terrain editor, click on the terrain, and just expand the terrain from the sides instead of adding manual blocks. There we go. I feel like this is too much, so I'm just gonna undo. just a little bit, and escape, and it should be saved. Now for static units, those aren't heavy units. You can just click any of them, just choose any of them. They won't be heavy, and they won't be animated. If you want to animate them, you have to do a little bit of editing in the Prefab Library over here, where you experiment with assets and, you know, make some prefabs or grouped assets together, and then import them all at once in here in this entity placement tab. So for the static units, those are just decorative objects. They're not actual moving objects. While dynamic units over here, those can take a lot of logic nodes. Like if you click on here, for example, this one spawned over here. If you take a look on the top right here, this is transform. This is the location and the rotation angle of each object. This button, the details button right here, opens up this tab. Be careful, sometimes it does not spawn, so make sure you click on it if it does not. Here it shows you the model. This is where you can attach more things to this. If this asset is just one lonely decoration, you can add more to it by clicking, let's say, I want to add this arrow sign to it, let's say over here, or a tree or something. They're connected together. I can just go to this, click on this, and go to decoration editor and select from scene, and you drag this or click on this, and it spawns over here on the right. Then you do exit selection and X, and here we're in the decoration management. Be careful, you have to click on this X to go back to the asset, and now they are like grouped. So here, this asset right here, this asset, if for example your character wants to go through it and there's no like collision, you want to turn off the native collision over here, turn off the initially effective, and your character can just walk through this asset so freely. If you want it to be collided with, then you're just gonna keep it, and it depends if you want it to be climbable or not. Also, don't forget to also always pay attention to this, because sometimes we make a group of assets and then remember in the end that they were all climbable when we didn't want them to. So always pay attention to this. And where the character collides with the object, here, if you see the preview, if you activate the preview right here, it's gonna show you where your character is gonna collide. What is it gonna collide with? After that, when you click on visibility, you can make it invisible. And since this is a dynamic unit and not a static one, it can accept these settings right here. It accepts like battle stuff, logic nodes that give them like specific tasks to do. Like for example, if you interact with it, it's gonna cause something, it's gonna trigger something, and you tell it exactly what it triggers. Like for example, it's a door lock, you're gonna have to put a custom variable that triggers the unlocking of the door. And you can also add VFX, which is like, let's say for example, when you interact with it, it releases fire or explodes or such. You can always add a VFX to it. But for my stage, I'm gonna keep it on the low for now. And as a designer myself with no experience in logic nodes, I usually go to the Milliastra Wonderland Recourse Center so that I can see if creators have released any logic nodes I can import directly into my file. So let's say I want a time-based puzzle, so I need a timer type of logic node. So I'm gonna go to the menu, top left, or click escape. On the bottom right over here, you're gonna find this icon. It says Wonderland Recourse Center. So you click on this. This website will show up, and this is where creators upload their own assets if you want to import them directly into your project. So in my case, I need a logic node to add a timer to the quest that I want to add. So let's see, I want to add a timer. I'm gonna search up this. So here you're gonna find that a lot of creators have uploaded time trial systems, and this is the one I actually want to use. Let me save this, click on it, and over here in the video, the creator thankfully has uploaded a video tutorial on how to import them, and they show you what is included in this asset if you want to import it directly into your file. Here in this trial, this is how it's triggered. You interact with something, it triggers the puzzle or the lobby that we want to design, and once you reach the other rock, it is the victory screen basically. Like over here, once you collide with this barrier, this is where you win the time trial. So this is what we want, and over here I'm gonna click on download and save it somewhere where I can remember. In the downloads folder, you're gonna copy this file, and going back to the game, when you click on the menu and do manage asset import/export, this is where we're gonna import our asset that will add the timer to our puzzle. So in import and transfer tab, you're gonna go to the bottom right, you're gonna see load external assets. Click on this and you're gonna open the directory, and we're gonna paste the file that we downloaded or drag it in here. And now going back to the game, you're gonna click load the external assets that we just imported, and there it is here. You click once on it, make sure it's checked in green in the asset pack, and you're gonna add transfer selected assets and click confirm. It's gonna be in a default tab. I'm gonna show you where that is inside. Click on the top right on X to close the window, and here in custom objects you're gonna click on the uncategorized tab, and you're gonna find the assets that have the timer, but you can always change the way those assets look. So now that I want to design my stage, let me delete this since I don't want it. Click on the delete button or right clicking on it and clicking on delete. Now I'm going to begin adding the assets that the character is going to walk on and interact with in the stage. Okay, now that I want to see, for example, how big the stage is around me and how small the character is, I can right click anywhere in the empty spaces, just not on an asset. Right click anywhere, and you're gonna see character dummy, add a dummy. You're gonna see a character spawns over here. It only has 2 navigation modes, only rotation and movement. I'm gonna put it where the preset point is to see exactly where the character is. Also, if you see that the character is like snapping to something that you don't want it to snap to, like this, in the settings on the top right, click once, you're gonna see placement settings. This is the snapping basically. I like to personally turn them all off. You can experiment with them though. And then now I can freely move without it snapping to anything. But if you want your character to be, let's say for example, if it's up in the air and you want it to be placed automatically on the ground, just drag from the middle, like the center point over here, and it's gonna be aligned with the ground automatically. So this is how big the stage is compared to the character size. And to see how big of a scale are the assets around me, let's see, I'm gonna drag 2 trees around me. Let's see, here and here. I think this is a good space. I'm gonna click on the menu, top left, and go to manage character preview. And this is gonna spawn your mannequin over here, so we can see the scale of the objects around us, and I think this is a good one. This is gonna spawn your mannequin, so you can navigate around your stage and see if the scale of everything is nice. So I think this path is pretty good, and even its space is really nice, very satisfying. Now I can begin adding my assets. Also, on the top right over here, there's a custom camera. If you want the camera not to be like this, you can do expand and choose any camera type and choose the camera mode. I personally like the 3D back camera because it gives you like a nice ratio of the camera, and it's different from the Genshin Impact camera a little bit. And then you can do exit and then do the same step again, manage character preview, to see with this camera mode. It's very satisfying, and I think this is exactly what I'd like to keep. Now click on escape and confirm to exit. And since I begin over here, I'm about to start adding each asset. For flooring, I'd like to go to... So for flooring, I like to add the stone road and scale it down so the character does not feel like it's a bumpy road. Scale it a little down like this. Maybe scale it a bit more. Over here. I'm gonna hold Alt and drag the move, or drag anywhere from the middle, to add more of this. And also, if you click on any of the assets and hold Shift and click on other assets, you can select them all, and then you can also Alt and drag them so you can copy them. So make it a little abstract so it does not look too aligned. If you see any flickering over here, like right here, you can just drag it a little down or a bit upwards or downwards just to stop the flickering. let's say I like this arrangement and I want to use all of these again later on. We're gonna click on one of them and go to the decoration editor and select from scene and select or highlight over the ones you want to add to that, you want to connect or bind to this asset, and then click exit selection, X and X. Now they're all connected to one asset, which is this one. Since sometimes you want to change the way they look and you also want to change the way this one, original one, looks, it might be a little tricky, it might not allow you. So in this case, I like to use an empty object, which you'll find in the dynamic units. Other, gonna see an empty object. I'm gonna add an empty object over them, or I'm gonna put it, let's say, in the middle of them and drag it downwards away from the map. I like to put it way away from the map so that in case, let's say, if it's upwards, sometimes maybe we can elevate the ground and the character could hit this, and if it's climbable, they have to climb an empty object that they cannot really see. It'll be tricky, so I prefer to drag it down away from everything, just below the map. And then in this empty object, I can bind all of the things I want to bind to this empty object. This way you can change anything in this asset whenever you'd like. Select from scene, exit, X and X, and now they all move as one object. The only problem here is sometimes the file could be heavy loaded, and that's because dynamic units are much heavier than static units. Static units you can use like 1,000 or even like thousands and they will not really lag, but using more dynamic units will lag with time. Since this asset is just a decoration but it's a dynamic unit, we can just change it to static by right-clicking on this and doing save as prefab. Saving as a prefab is like grouping something and saving this group for later, and when you change anything to it, it can overwrite the similar ones in the map already. Let's say we call it pathway. Confirm. Now it is saved in the uncategorized tab. It's called pathway. Whenever you click on it, you're going to spawn more of it. Now go to the prefab library over here and click on pathway, so you can edit whatever whenever. And here we can finally change the dynamic unit to a static one, but this way those won't take any custom variables or VFX or such. If you'd like to give this pathway, let's say for example a explosive path or something, then you'll have to keep it at dynamic, so you can add a VFX whenever you'd like. Let's say a fiery effect or rocky effect or sparkles or such. But in my case, I'm gonna keep them as static and do confirm. Now they're back to static. Here it says that the ones that were used before, like similar ones to this asset, is unsaved, or they did not get the same changes. So here, right click on the asset that you already edited just now and click on overwrite and save the prefab. And now here, so it says static, right? When you go to the entity placement where we added this when it was dynamic, now it says it's a static because it's overwritten. Now I can begin designing the rest of my stage. I'm gonna just mess around with the path, see if I like the way it's going. I want to give this a curve, so I'm gonna go to the decoration editor and edit those parts. Now I can edit each part separately, but they're still bound to the same asset, same prefab. Okay, so I like the snake lines, and I want to make the path that the character takes feel like they're walking in like a snake layer, and the path is snake shaped. It has the shape of a snake. So here I decided to change the rock types to something that looks more muddy and makes you feel like you're walking down an actual snake layer in a swamp. And I added some dark rocks underneath the water terrain to make it look like what's underneath the water is a muddy texture. So here I'm also replicating or duplicating the same rock, using it for platforms. And I'm deforming them a little bit, descaling them or underscaling them or overscaling them just to make them look different, even though it's just the same rock. And I just copied, held Alt, dragged all the rocks to, you know, create the shape of the maze that I want to create. And also, this is just like a beginning until we redecorate or reorganize where the rocks are, their sizes. So here I'm just getting an idea or like creating the concept that I want to see. And I added how much water I need in this terrain. Also, I didn't want to add too much because too much water in the terrain can overexhaust or overload the file. And I don't want the game to feel so heavy on other devices like phones and not just PCs. And as you can see, I also added a weather or an environment configuration to the scene so I can fully imagine the whole concept or the whole stage. And to me, this is the most important step because the lighting really helps me imagine the full concept or the full stage or even the final look of it. So here I will show you how to set up the environment configuration to get this effect. Now for a foggy effect like this one, you want to mess with the environment configuration in order to create a weather that helps you give the feeling of the swamp. Or even something like this. Almost everything in the sky is editable. The stars, the clouds, the galaxy color and its location, the moon size, its luminosity, even the sun, its luminosity and size and color, everything can be done through the environment configuration. So when you go to the terrain editor, you're going to find this environment configuration, which is this morning setting. So let's say I want to create this swamp one. I'm going to click on new environment. Let's call it swamp 2. Confirm create. Click on it right here. And now I want to explain these settings in order to achieve the, let's say, the greenish foggy effect weather type of thing in the stage. I'm gonna turn this off, auto switch with time. There are already made presets, but they're pretty bright and I want something darker and night-timey. I'm gonna set the time point to like, let's say 5 a.m. Okay, much better. Now I want the color of the background to be more greenish. I already have a color hex code saved. Let's see. You can click on this icon and it gives you the color selector. You can choose any shade you'd like. For me, I prefer this one. Enter or click anywhere to activate it. Filter style, you can do like a monochrome game or make it a purple, give it a purple effect, or even yellow, blue. All these colors give you a bit of a hue, but I'll just gonna keep it on default. Horizon intensity is how bright the horizon is. I'm not really gonna need it. This is for the sun, upper sunny side background color. Let me try something. Let's try the green. While the sky background color is what we need to change. If we want it to be dark nighttime, it's gonna be greenish nighttime. And I'm just gonna add the same shade I added in the light color. Okay, much better. Okay, now scrolling down to environment color, also same thing. Now it's a little too green, everything. Just let's see if I can do it, get a bit of a yellowish shade. This is the upper hemisphere and there's the lower hemisphere down there below the stage. There's so many. Make sure to look where you are. Then let's say I'm gonna do red. Search for where you added that red. Make sure exactly what they're talking about. Here it is the environment hemisphere color. And it's affecting the whole stage color. So in our case, I need the greenish one, a bit darker, yellowish, to be more natural. I don't want it too dark. Just gonna keep it at that for now. For the sun color, right now it's nighttime, so it's set on black and there's no brightness. But when there's sun, of course, you can make it appear, but make sure the timing is correct. So the sun, you can edit its color, the brightness, and how big it is with the size and its angle and orbiting tilt angle. Here we might not need the moon because I will add fog, so exactly we don't really need it, but you can just not change it at all. You can add, of course, stars, you can add the galaxy, you can add clouds. They look like this. The light of the galaxy, you can change it also to green. Maybe give it a bit of a darker shade. And its strength, its like color, strength of a galaxy, less luminous and less intense. can play around with this. In my case, I won't need any. I'm just gonna turn it off. Clouds, I also won't need any, but in the cloud section, you can also edit its color. Let's see, let's put them on green actually. Okay, it's given a nice effect. Let's play with the shadows. Oh, it looks amazing now. That's in case we're gonna add the clouds. You can keep them for now. Keep in mind that if you change this set time point, it will change every setting you changed down here. It's automatic, and it will automatically show you that this atmosphere, how it looks like at 3 a.m. right? It's very different, but what we did was this. And of course the clouds, you can choose how many of them you would like, mid or high or faint clouds or low clouds. But for now I'm satisfied with the light. Maybe make it a bit more intense and add a bit of blurriness. But the most important part is the foggy effect. I really want to do this effect. So in the swamp area, I'm gonna click on the top right over here. Click on this cloud and sun icon. Initial weather effect, there's only none. Click on edit details, add one, and now we have a weather ID. Initially effective is basically how the environment configuration begins as soon as you begin the stage. To me, of course, I want the environment configuration to take effect as soon as the character spawns. So what first thing character sees is definitely this effect. Click here, click on fog, the weather type. Now it's a blue fog. We're gonna turn off auto switch of time, and it's officially effective. Here, upper fog, we're gonna paste the color that I like, and here too, paste. Here as well, in the color of the high fog settings, also green. There we go. I think it's a little dim. Let's brighten up them a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, much better. Get a bit yellowish. Oh yeah, like this. This is bright. This is nice. Swampy. Less vibrant. Let's give it some vibrance. Okay, there we go. It's very vibrant now. Over here in the settings, these are the most effective to me. Basically, the fog height is how high the fog goes into the sky. Let me just do like 10. It covers a lot of the... let's say if there's like a temple at the end, I'm not gonna see it from here. In my case, I also want to add a statue, like some sort of a Hydra in the sky. I might not be able to see it because of fog height, so I'm just gonna set it to 5. This way I can see a bit of the sky. Fog starting distance, this is how far the fog starts from the character. Let's do if it's 5, which is the least. If you set it to 1, it's only gonna be 5. This is too close to the character. I'm not able to see how far the stage goes, and I can't see what's in the end or what's waiting for me. So let's see, we're just gonna start after like 20 meters, or let's see, 10. And the fog decline distance is how close the fog is to the ground. So like if you decrease it, it's so close to the ground you do not see anything. You're in between the fog, you cannot see anything underneath. But if you raise it up a little bit, it's more inclined into the sky. You can see from below it, basically. And you can see for a very long distance. So we're just gonna put it a little close to the ground. Let's see, on like 50, that was too much. Do 100. Okay, that's good enough. And you can still see the things in the distance. As for the distance fog settings, this is basically how foggy the distance is. Let's say the sky, if you increase the sky fog density, you might not be able to see the sky at all. And this lower fog color, it's like it's raised upwards, and this bright color affected this entire sky. So just decrease it a bit. The near fog density is also affecting your visibility from here to the sky. So we're just gonna set it to 0.5 is good. And make sure to always click Ctrl S to save the changes. In the top left in the menu, you can quick save as well. So now that the weather in the fog is ready, I want to enable it. Click on the settings, and down here you're gonna load the new environment, so that way when you go to the entity placement, it does not change. Now I'm gonna continue to add some barriers around the players so that they don't exactly jump off the map. So I'm gonna put like borders with some rocks. You can add some colliders as well, but this is the easier way. Just let's add like these 2 rocks. scale them behind the trees. That way the character won't be able to see them. Make sure they're unclimbable. So that way the character cannot exactly escape from in between the trees. So in this phase, I'm just adding more and more borders. And this is the phase before detailing the entire stage and adding more paths or deciding whether I want more water or not. It depends on your preference, of course. So for me, I like to get a whole idea of what the stage could look like in the final shot. And I will be adding more paths and more details after this. And now, after finally adding some borders and knowing exactly how spacious the stage is, making sure where the borders are, how far I'm gonna run, is this suitable for the timer, I'm gonna have to make sure that the time is also matching the time spent trying to survive this maze. So now let's see for here. I'm satisfied with this maze. It's a bit spirally, it's a bit tricky. This is not climbable. I need to make it climbable. Make sure it's not affecting the player's effective speed. And now here at the ending scene, I need to add something like a point of interest to stop this repetition. And I also want to add more decorations to hide these defaults, like small bushes and small rocks to cover these, or just drag the stage a bit down, like those borders. I can drag them down. Okay, let's proceed. So for the ending scene, I will choose one of the buildings already made assets by Hoyo, and they're mostly assets used in Genshin Impact itself in the map. So I'm gonna use this wooden pavilion and drag it down. It's a little small. I'm gonna increase its scale like this, this, this. Or from here I can just type in the zooming. So here 2, and here 2, and here 2. So that's pretty asymmetrical. Let me test the character's scale. Scale to the character. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that so much. Enter here and you get the chest here. Sounds nice. Also, I want to add something more of like a monster or a dragon or a serpent, something like a Hydra to match the vibe. And I wanted like a statue at the back, something like creepy that gives the feeling of the epic scene. So I will look through the resource center for any of the monsters. In my case, I already have made some monsters before, or some creatures, where we can get some from. Here, for example, I have an epic white dragon forest prefab. It's white, but with the green effect of the weather that we have, we can definitely manipulate that. So I'm gonna go there, download it. When it's downloaded, you go there, you copy, you go to the game like we did before, import, load, open directory, paste the file, and then back to the game, load external assets. There we have it, epic white dragon, transfer, confirm. And now X, it should be in the uncategorized tab in here. So white stage, it is over here. So I want this dragon, but I don't want the whole prefab that it came with. So here in the decoration editor, it seems like the creator combined everything to an empty object, as you can see here. So over here, I'm gonna delete everything except the dragon. Select the assets and delete them. Now I'm done deleting the parts of the asset that I don't need. I'm gonna click on X and choose the empty object back again. Exit the decoration manager. I'm gonna drag down the dragon a bit and send it far away. And now, there we go. The dragon is right there, and the effect of the fog is giving it a little epic-y feel. Let's see if we get closer. It's a little too near, so I'm also gonna take it away. Maybe increase the size a bit. Ooh, okay. Now here we go. The dragon is here. Nice POI. point of interest, and we have the shrine, or the place where the final chest will be. And now, before I finally add the chest and the timer puzzle, and edit all the logic nodes and follow the tutorial of the creator of the logic node, I would like to add some background music to give me a little bit of an excitement feel to the stage. So how to do that is to go to the menu, top left, and you're gonna find Manage Background Music. Click on this, and now click here to select the background music asset, and there you have, there's like quest music. If you're like, those are all Hoyo Mix music from Genshin Impact. You'll be very familiar with most of them. I'm gonna choose battle music because the stage is a little epic, so I need something a bit aggressive. Let's see, I like this one, but I'm not sure how far in will it have like a beat drop or something. I'm gonna set it, I'm gonna select it, it's set over here, and I'm gonna drag this to like maybe 40 seconds to see where it starts. I'm gonna click here. Okay, I like this. Let's drag it a bit further to see where it also gets better. So for the volume, I would like to keep it on 100. If a player doesn't like the music too loud, they can also decrease it from their own settings. So I'm just gonna put mine on 100. Playback speed. You know how some songs are just too familiar, some people could get bored of a repetitive song, or you know, if you're putting it on a loop, you can do something interesting. You can decrease the playback speed so it sounds entirely different, like this. And you can also make it faster. Let's see, 1.10 or 11. Very intense. You can also do the fading in so that when players get in, it's not like loud right away, or not. I would like it more epic, so I'm just gonna turn it off. And looping, because this song is just gonna be the same one that's gonna be looped in the game. Now that it's set, you can click on minimize, and there you go. Control S to save everything, don't forget. And let's try to test this stage, see if it's like a nice map. This preset point is where the character spawns, so make sure to put it somewhere comfortable, a little bit above the ground, so the character isn't below like this dummy. We need to raise it up. Delete this dummy, no need. We need to make sure everything's going to be effective when we get in the game. So for example, we want this swamp to weather to take effect, like this one. Over here in effective target, you're gonna make sure to select all players to see the same thing. Let's test play now. In order to test play, like you're actually playing the game, go to the menu. I'm gonna find test play over here and direct upload. If it lags like this, you can wait for it to say it failed, or please restart Milliastra Wonderland. You already did Control S, you saved the game, or quick save from here. It will be already, if you click on save management, it will be cloud saved over here. Make sure to rename it so you remember which file it is. Let's call it a swamp. Click escape to go back. And now, since it failed, click on the menu and exit Milliastra Wonderland from here. It's gonna send you back to Genshin Impact, and once you're back here, try to reload back there and go back inside. Now we're gonna try to test play, direct upload. Now it's uploading and should work right away. Now over here, enable the cosmetics display. For test playing, I'm not gonna load anything. Enable test play settlement, we don't need the settlement. Test play with the mannequina or the mannequin. Also, I am player 1. Now we can start the game. Let's test it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I like this. To settle, click escape and abandon the challenge. So far so good. So now on to implanting the logic nodes that the creator uploaded on the store, so we can implant it into the scene. After finally redecorating the set and putting some obstacles and redesigning the maze, also keeping the same concept, adding those snake lines to the maze, the player has to think of a way to reach the end in time while also solving this maze Would they go to the right or would they go to the left? When you go here, because of the fog, you might hit this obstacle. Now that I'm satisfied with this stage, I would like to go ahead and implant the nodes now. So what we're gonna do is go back to the store page where the creator has uploaded the time trial system. And since there is a tutorial video, we're gonna watch it and follow each step to add these nodes to our stage and begin the game. And actually, just in case we mess up this file, let's recreate it, make a copy of it. Copy, save. Okay, we'll go back to, click on escape to go back to this file. So it says that the beginning of the trial is right here. This is the, hello. Oh, there we go. This is where I want my stage to begin. Over there, I'm gonna add the endpoint, which is gonna be over here. Okay, we've done that. There are obstacles, but to me, I'm not adding any. It says here, if you use dynamic entities, make sure to disable the initial creation settings separately over here. And in our case, we're not adding any, so I'm not doing this step. So we're clicking on this top left menu, scroll down to see manage entity deployment groups. We clicked on it, create new entity group and rename it to time trial 1. And then now we can add initial create is off since it's a dynamic unit. I'm gonna do it add to entity deployment group, time trial, confirm. Menu, timer management, new timer. I'm gonna call it time trial. The dynamic time trial timer. Timer, countdown, and this is set to 1. Yes, okay. Okay, stage entity is right here. Click on it. Custom variable, add common component, global timer, advanced. Okay, done. Advanced editing, specify timer. Play. This is X. Go to the node graphs on the right, add node graph and timer display. Now in the menu, you go to manage UI control groups. Here you click on custom on the left, add UI control, prefabricated template, scroll down, choose timer, and on the right, choose the waypoint settings, select this one, and drag the timer upwards a little bit, and here type 800 in the X location, and the height should be 770, and in visibility toggle off the initial visibility. And down in timer settings, the type should be countdown, warning time is 0, and specify time trial timer. And copy the index right here of the timer. Click on this button right here, copied. Now on the keyboard, hold Alt and click with it tab to tab out to the Milliastra sandbox and select it. It should open this tab right here, and in entity node graph click on uncategorized tab and select timer display, and it should open this. And with the right side mouse button, hold it and drag. You're gonna reach this section right here, UI control, and set UI control group, and here you're gonna paste it. It's already pasted, and down here as well, paste it, and up there also paste it. Once you're done pasting here and here and here, you click Ctrl+S or save button right here to save the changes. Now going back to Milliastra, you click on this doll and go to this tab and go to tab advanced editing. Click on this, and then you delete the level 2 tab since we don't need it, we just need one button. And then going back to manage entity deployment groups, you click on the time trial and toggle off the initial create. And then you copy the index of the time trial, and after you go back, go to custom variable, advanced editing, and delete the second one, and edit this one and paste the index over here, and the timer is set on 50 seconds. Now that it's done, we can test play the stage on direct uploading, and here is the beginning. You interact with this dummy to begin the challenge. Timer starts, start running towards the maze. And something to note is that when the character falls or dies into the water, the node graph automatically respawns the character to the beginning of the stage where the doll is, so you can restart. So this is how you replicate the time trial based games or mini puzzles from Genshin Impact into Milliastra Wonderland stages. I will be making part 2, explaining in it how to add a victory screen and showing you how you can make the character or the player have endless stamina. And for now, thank you for watching and stay tuned for part 2.